Hello everyone and thanks for watching Edupedia World Videos. I am S.K. Puri, your faculty for organization behavior. Now today we will be taking up a different topic and I will be just now giving you the overview of the topic. Well, the overview of the topic of today is what is perception, factors influencing perception, number 3, individual versus group decision making, number 4, team working and decision making, number 5, decision making in global environment, number 6, control process and decision making. So actually today's topic is perception and decision making, which will be covered in these 6 subtopics. Now let us first understand what is perception. Perception is a process by which individual organizes and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. What it means is that we sense the environment through our 5 senses, but perception is that process by which we understand the environment. So, what is a personal or person's perception? It is making judgment about others or about the environment. By perception we mean that we see as per our experiences and our past or our own area of work. So perception is different for different people. For example, if there is a person who is seeing a building, a structural engineer will see it from the point of view of structural strength. An architect will see it from the architectural beauty. A security person may see the exits and the inlet points. A fire brigade person may see that what is there to protect from the fire. So we all have different perception. The world remaining same, but the same world is seen by different people in different manner. That is what we call perception. Now what are the factors affecting perception? There are 4 basic points which are to be noted as affecting perception. Number 1, selective perception. On the basis of our interest, background and experience and attitudes, we perceive selectively. As just now I have given the example of a building being perceived by an architect or a safety engineer or a fire brigade man, like that different people or a person, an artist, they have all seen the same building in different ways. Second is called the halo effect. Halo effect is that on the basis of a single characteristic you make a decision or you perceive a thing. For example, if there is a teacher is giving a trial class and he is teaching very good, but he has come in chappals, maybe that we perceive that the teacher is not good just because of one basic characteristic, that instead of wearing shoes he has worn chappals. Number 3 is projection. We try to project our own beliefs and thinking onto others. We think that everybody thinks the same way that we think. For example, if you think everybody wants challenges, because you want challenges, it is your perception. Everybody may not be wanting challenges. Just because you want challenges and more challenges in life, that does not mean everybody wants challenges. Number 4, the factor affecting perception is stereotyping. Stereotyping is that you have a stereotype thinking that this particular group is there, so anybody belongs to this particular group will be of this nature. For example, some people have an impression or a stereotype thinking about a nurse, that a nurse is a very low type of job. or a person belonging to a minority group may be seen differently. This is called stereotyping. Now we come to next point, and that is the specific applications of perception in organization. We see there are some specific things that where the concept of perception can be applied in organization. Number one is employment interviews. The evidence indicates that interviewers make perceptual judgments that are often inaccurate. We select a person or reject a person depending on our perceptual error. Second is performance expectation or self-fulfilling prophecy. When one person inaccurately perceives a second person and the resulting expectation causes the second person to behave in ways consistent with the original perception. Supposing I perceive that the other person is not good in the job and I tell him again and again, then he starts behaving in that manner. This is the performance expectation. The same is true in a positive sense. The self-fulfilling prophecy in a positive sense is that I think that I can tackle any kind of situation. So I am able to tackle because of the self-fulfilling prophecy. This is also a factor of perception. Third is performance evaluation and employee effort. Just as teacher, often the managers also do the same mistake in evaluating the performance because of our own perception. Now, important concepts about decision making. This is a picture shown decision making in a collaborative manner, that is called collaborative decision making. Now, what is problem and what is a decision? A problem, it means a discrepancy between some current state of affairs and some desired state of affairs, and we take decisions because of this difference between the current state and the desired state. Decision means the choices made from among two or more alternatives so that we can reach this desired state. Now, decision making has got three fundamental concepts. Number one, rationality. Rationality in decision making is the decision maker should have a clear understanding of alternatives under existing circumstances, and the limitations must have information and the ability to evaluate the alternatives. So, although we say that rationality should be super most important thing, but there are limitations about having information and about the ability to evaluate the alternatives, and there are time limitations also. So limitations of information availability, time, and certainty limitation, the limit of our rationality. Then the third concept comes, satisficing. Because of the limitations of information availability, rationality has got some limitations. We try to reach the best solution under the circumstances, that is called satisficing. Now, other important factors. Other important factors in decision making are that in a particular situation there are some quantitative and some qualitative factors. Quantitative factors are which are measurable, and qualitative factors are which are not measurable but which can be talked in a qualitative manner. Second point that we must note is that decision making can be under uncertainty and risk, where we have to understand the probability of happening an event or the risk of happening or not happening a particular event. Third is that creativity and innovation, and CPS means creative problem solving using brainstorming, is very important. Means we involve your creativity and solve the problem in a creative manner by using brainstorming in a group. Fourth is divergent and convergent thinking. When we generate ideas, it is divergent thinking, and when we analyze each and every idea, it is convergent thinking. Last is that Today, in the today's environment, creative manager is the first requirement because we have to innovate, we have to design new technologies and new products all the time. Now, global operations. In the present day of globalization, global operations have become important, and hence decision making has to be seen from the point of view of global operations. Take for example Walmart. Geographically distances are there, different labor costs are there, currency fluctuations are there, cultural diversity, different labor laws, etc., making the control system and decision making very typical in a global situation. Setting standards and planning and monitoring has to be global level with variations for different countries' operation. And the most important thing is that global managers' skill required to adjusting to cultural variations. For example, we have seen McDonald's and KFC are global players, and they have to adjust to the various cultural variations in which they operate. They have to see the diversity of cultures in which they operate. Accordingly, they have to take decisions. Now, group decision making is when decision making is selecting a course of action from among various alternatives. Planning and decision making are connected as commitment of resources involved, and alternatives are to be considered in planning. Identifying the alternatives, evaluating the alternatives in terms of goals, choosing the alternative. Now, in the group decision making, the group is involved instead of an individual, and group decision making can be done through brainstorming, generating ideas, and using creativity. So there is very good advantage that a group sits and generates ideas, which gives much better creativity. Rational versus intuition. Although we have said that we want to have rationality in our decisions, but because of the limitations of information availability, the time limitations, and the limitations of evaluating correctly the alternatives, we may not go always for a very rational type of process, and we may have to use intuition in these situations. So we have understood what is rational decision making. Because of the technological explosion, we are using information technology also, but here we have understood the use of creativity and creative leadership so that we generate new products, new technologies. What we are trying to see here is that the intuition and gut feeling is one of the faculties given by God to us that we can use in decision making, and we have seen in practical life where we cannot use a rationality to the fullest because of the limitations. Also, rationality first we have to explore, but then we should not forget that there is a faculty called intuition and gut feeling, which we must use. We see that there are certain individuals who are learning, and organizations which are learning, they are changing their mindsets as the things are changing. These people are able to make better decisions. Those people who are learning individuals and learning organizations. Decision making under certainty and uncertainty. When there is certainty, decision making is easier, but when there is a situation which is uncertain, uncertainty comes into decision making in uncertain environment. Use of quantitative techniques on operation research is also used in decision making, which we will study in a different subject. Quantitative and qualitative factors we have already studied. Use of probability theories can be applied in operations research, where probabilities can be calculated of certain events happening. Planning premises. Organizations do not exist in islands. Organizations have internal and external environment. Planning premises means the anticipated environment in which planning decisions are to be expected to operate. That means we have to consider what is the internal and external environment of an organization before making any strategic decision. Teamwork. In team building, high interaction among team members to increase trust and openness. Team building and team working has become more and more important in the recent days because we feel that team working has got lots of advantages over working in a strict hierarchical order. Teams generate positive synergy through coordinated efforts. Effective teams have adequate resources, effective leadership, a climate of trust. Members have technical skills as well as problem-solving skills and interpersonal skills. Coordination for decision making is a must. We have various departments in an organization like research and development, operations, procurement, design, or operations. So there has to be a requirement of coordination among various departments, and we have seen that cross-functional teams work better when we have to go for new products or product improvements, so that all functional areas are represented and they are interdependent. Interdependence is the reality of today, and in such things where we have to go for new product developments or new areas to enter or new technologies, we must work on cross-functional teams. Control process and control decisions. We set targets, we measure and monitor them, and wherever we find that some recourse or some change is required, some decisions are to be taken so that we can achieve our goals. So we must have critical points of monitoring, standards and benchmarks, and we must take controlled decisions for achieving our goals. So this is how the decision making in an organization goes. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video today. For more videos, log on to www.edupediaworld.com. Thanks again.